releasing or opening that crease of the buttock or gluteal fold makes such an advanced adjustment in the pelvis and the rest of the body. We want to make sure we are carrying that through while we are aligning for Virabhadrasana 1. Starting from Tadasana with the shoulders well open, chest lifted, rib cage, or being conscious of the fact that the ring of the rib cage remains over the ring of the pelvis, where neither the thigh is distorting the pelvis forward nor is the chest stooping and distorting backward. We have to maintain a conscious alignment. Thighs back, three-pointed contact with the foot, arch open, leg bones aligning over the calcaneus, buttock tucked in. About this we will see next class in more detail. Buttock as if it is layering itself toward the pelvic girdle, raising the abdomen up, chest up, broadly keeping the clavicles open, shoulders rolled back and shoulder blade tucked in and sitting down. Bring your hands in front of the chest, with the elbows maintaining the lift of the rib cage and with the palms spread apart so that the front of the chest remains open, traversing the extension and expansion of Urdhvastasana and Parshvastasana. Jump open the leg apart. Remember, if you have foot, knee, ankle problems or any mobility issues due to which you can't jump, please don't jump. Step open the legs apart. Then from this point, we are now doing it independently, as in we are turning the palms towards the ceiling, rotating the bicep up toward the ceiling. So the palm turns here as a palm, and here by rotating the bicep toward the ceiling, the palm turns up. You want the bicep which connects more closely to the cervical neck to work, and from there you're raising the arms in Urdhvastasana as if you're still thinking you're holding the wall ropes, where you're able to have the ring of the rib cage, broaden the diaphragm, ascend up, and the pelvis that is very stable against the wall. You want to feel that single plane extension. From there, you're going to be turning your right foot out and left foot in. So you're doing it on the left side, which means she's turned the left foot out and right foot in, and then immediately you try to map the body. When you map the body, you see whether you're experiencing a complete rotation of the pelvis, in which case you feel that your hand was on the right side of the pelvis, was on the left side of the pelvis, and you want to move front and back, as in the right hip rolls forward and the left hip is pulled backward because the femur is integrating, and you bring the pelvis in one plane. Further, remember I mentioned that the crease of the buttock is deeper toward the perineum, but as it comes out, its depth starts to fade away, as if you are widening the crease of the buttock and carving a depth, as if you're creating that further crease. At the outer end, you have to roll the crease open, which removes the congestion of the sacrum, broadens the gluteus, and provides a pathway for the nervine system to function. There you see front of the abdomen long, back of the lumbar short, which means that the pelvis is skewed. You want to lift the front of the pelvis up, lift the front of the pelvis up until the rib cage comes over the pelvis. Then for today, there is more work with this. For today, you're just sitting as if you slided down the wall to sit for Utkatasana, which means you start to become conscious of the right and left ischial tuberosity, and you just sit straight down, maintaining the pelvis and rib cage alignment without the sacrum or tailbone popping back or the spine tilting forward. Rib cage nicely lifted, upper arm behind the ear. Now you will see that the back little toe side of the foot or fifth metatarsal tends to want to come up. You have to keep the arch open and press that outer heel and fifth metatarsal down so that the stability of the pose remains. When you come up, turn the foot in and jump feet together. Again, I just wanted to once again show, when you take your hands and jump open your leg apart, and when you go, if you feel that the buttock is jutting out, You always should read that the front of the pelvis is low, therefore it is pushing the buttock out. You want to lift the front of the pelvis up, and that will secure the weight on the back leg. Holding the weight on the back leg, then you sit straight down as if you're thinking you're holding that rope up but sitting down. Holding the rope up but sitting down, maintaining a good opening at the crease of the buttock. Now this on the right side as well. From Tadasana, hands in front of the chest, jump open the legs apart, turn the palm, raise the hands in Urdhva lifting a broad rib cage directly over your pelvis, arms sharp, then turning the right foot out completely and left foot in. First, we adjust the steering action. As we say, it goes around the top of the pelvis. So the steering action takes care of the top and middle pelvis. So the left pelvis comes forward, right pelvis goes backward until the entire body is steered. When you turn a steering, the entire vehicle turns. When you turn the steering, the entire body as a vehicle should turn. And when that happens, to address the lower pelvis as well, this crease of the buttock should be nicely etched. From the in to the outer end, it should be broadened and broadened until the buttock completely releases away from the sacrum. Now the chest is here. You can see the sacrum is right here and tilting outward, which indicates to me that the pelvis is dropped. So you want to raise the front of the pelvis up and take the tailbone in. Raise the front of the pelvis up and take the tailbone in, keeping the back leg at the outer fifth tuberosity stable. Then, as if your hand is holding the rope, lift the rib cage up and then continue to sit down as if you're aware of the ischium while you're sitting down. Then, opening the arch, pressing the back leg, you come up, turn your foot in, jump feet together. As the final pose for today, we'll do a variation of Shavasana, which is bent leg Shavasana using a bolster. So we keep a bolster and sit in front of it. Sit down. No, sit on the other end. Yeah, where the hip is just, or the buttock is just around a couple of inches away from the bolster. At this point, vastly lengthening your spine, you lie down. Make sure the buttock is not stuck to the bolster and there is this 2 or 3 inches separation. Then vastly lengthening your spine, you lie down, and then if the placement of the prop is right, so here as you can see, the separation of the buttock is more than necessary. So here the patient will, the student will take the hand up on the bolster, press the feet and then raise the hip up. Take the hands on the pelvis and nicely traction the pelvis down until it comes closer to the bolster, creating length and stability for the pelvis and lumbar. And then you extend your leg from that traction, right leg and left leg. Now, the bolster, if placed correctly, will naturally cradle the back of the thigh and the back of the knee and the back of the upper calf. So this section will be properly supported by the bolster. And another way to check is, if that is correct, the heel will rest on the floor. Let's say if the bolster is misplaced, that is, if the bolster is lower than it should be, then the leg does not rest on the floor, the heel remains lifted. So the bolster should be placed in such a way that the back of the thigh, back of the knee and the top calf is supported, that is, the knee joint is definitely rested, and here you will see that the heel lands on the floor. When this knee joint is rested, there is natural support of the core muscles toward the lumbar spine, making sure the lumbar is deeply stable and rested. At that point, you allow the edges of the shoulder to spread, have the arms lengthened at around 15 to 20 degrees away from you, rotating the bicep out to create that openness of the chest. You allow the hands to naturally curl, maintaining the chin toward the chest so that the back of the neck remains long. Remaining in this position for some time, we will then come out of this position to end our practice for today. Of course, we are showing a shortened version, Essentially, a Shavasana should be done for at least a period of around 10 minutes where there is a natural settlement with a slow, soft inhalation and a slow, soft exhalation at this point, as if each vertebra was like a separate island, which in Sanskrit we call Dvipa. Dvipa is an island where, as if with every exhalation, you're able to place every single one of those islands, which are those spinous processes, vertebral bodies that I was mentioning, toward the floor in a restive phase. Normal inhalation, normal, so soft, quiet exhalation, and this process takes some time, which you should give. After you've finished, you take your palms on your abdomen, one after the other. Bend your legs, keep it on the bolster, one after the other. And then, though she should be rolling on the right side, we are now showing it to you on the left side so that you get a view of how this should be done. Remember, it should be done on the right side though. She takes the knee toward the floor, and with that the entire body turns. The upper arm supports the head like a cushion, and then the other palm comes in front of the abdomen on the floor. Now, the knee essentially, if it comes off the bolster on the ground, you should ensure that the foot does not remain on the bolster, the foot also comes down, and the knee is brought up to hip level so that the lower back remains long. The knee should not go lower than hip level. Pressing the palm down without jerking up, as if the head softly remains looking at the floor while coming up. We quietly come up and end class for today. Thank you. See you in the next class.